building A and you have a one-stop center, it creates other kinds of things. So it's very hard to look at this anything other than a snapshot with various options that would exist at various time frames over the next 15 years. I think certainly we have to engage the faculty more as we look at specific options. I didn't look at this as anything beyond faculty were engaged generally, perhaps not as specifically on a program-by-program basis, but we were not looking specifically, for example, about taking programs out of building G and moving them somewhere else. I think what you saw was a recommendation, a conceptualization of options, not necessarily a proposal. I don't think it was a proposal at all.
Trustee, I did just want to answer also, thank you. What the Chancellor said is correct. With the district-wide educational master plans, with the committee, all of the colleges did their educational master planning, and then it came together, and that was with the expertise of Moss, then looking at all of the colleges to say, oh, well, we have these combined programs, and that's their strength to say, well, when you're going to spend all of this money on facilities, now is a time then to have the conversation, and that's where this comes up in these conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Ewan and then Trustee Guillen. Chancellor.
I've heard this at Peralta since I've been here, and I think it is a legitimate concern, and that is that people sort of get bushwhacked. And I don't think there's any intent here to bushwhack a department or a college or anybody else. I think the real thing here is to give people, as you said earlier, something to think about, some issues that may come up, so that down the line, when these questions are brought to the faculty, when these questions are brought back to the colleges, no one can say, where'd this come from? We never heard this before. Well, at least the idea is being issued now as part of this baseline master plan. But there are fundings that need to be achieved both from the state and perhaps from the taxpayers. There are programs that will change and emerge as technology changes, as career fields changes, as workforce development needs change. So again, what we're looking at is 2009, and what we're talking about in photography, if we talked 10 years ago, nobody was really talking actually about digital photography as we are now. And the program has changed to deal with digital photography. So all the things we're talking about are at least fluid to the extent that the resources will change, the students will change, the demographics are going to change, and we're going to have to continue to talk and have a dialogue with the faculty. But none of these things will happen without faculty involvement. And ultimately, they're going to be decided not by the administration, but by the trustees. And the faculty, the administration, the students, hopefully the community at large will all weigh in as each of these critical decisions are made and ultimately determined by you.
Thank you. I stand reassured. Trustee Ewan.
Thank you. When we started this process of facilities master planning, my understanding was that we were trying to do this in tandem with, parallel with the educational master planning project, and that's part of what slowed the whole thing down, was trying to move it forward. To date, I have not yet seen an educational master plan. I've asked for one, but I haven't seen an actual educational master plan from any of the campuses, the physical document. And I think it would probably be useful for the board to at least see an executive summary of the educational master plans and then probably have the entire thing itself. Let's not kid ourselves. This is going to be a complicated process. I think that much is clear. But when it comes down to it, this really is going to be a question of making decisions about the allocation of resources. We're going to try to figure out how do we take the limited resources that we have and provide the best educational opportunities for our students that we can. And presumably we did the educational master planning process so that that would be done in a rational way. Now, the conflict, of course, is that the ed plans from each campus don't necessarily work across the district. And that's why that's why we've got a little bit of hard work to do. But I think when we do, when we get this facilities master plan, if we're going to approve it, I think there need to be a bunch of caveats right at the very front that says, this is simply a rough conceptual document, and the hard tax decisions, the brass tax decisions about allocation of resources are going to come at some point in the future, but will not be made necessarily out of this document until we've had that serious discussion about the ed plans, how they integrate across the district, and so forth. I think we got a lot of work to do here. But this is a really fabulous starting place, and I'm glad to see it. But I want us to be really clear that when this gets to us, it really is not the end, but a beginning. And anyway, so can I, Chancellor, Mr. President, can I get the administration to provide the board with hard copies of the ed plans?
I'd like to make a comment. I requested hard copies and received hard copies. Also, in the early stages in the development, the ed plans were put on the self-studies as well, were put on the internet, I'm sorry, in PDF format for availability. But I think that what your point is well made, that the board, the entire board, probably should not even have to make any requests, which should just be given these documents as they develop.
Well, I asked several times and never got them.
Trustee Guillen?
As a point of information, just to let you know, Moss Companies offered to work on the format of the educational master plans. 2 of them are completed on our website, mossco.com, and you can download them from there. The other 2 are going to be ready by Friday.
Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you for my colleagues on the board that came here after an 8 to 5 workday. I appreciate it, 100%. Good show, good briefings, good concepts. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.